everyone, and welcome to the Just Think About It podcast, where I talk and I ask you guys to just think about it. It's been a minute. It's been a good minute since I've done one of these, and I think I have a lot to say now that I've been gone. So why don't we just get right into it? First, let's talk about starting off this episode. I want to talk about, our minimum wage workers. I just want to tell you all, be kind. Be kind to your local minimum wage workers, especially in fast food. Because you never know what they're going through, Not only do they have to deal with the rush of everything, but they also have to deal with, their coworkers. Yeah, so you never know. This summer I spent a lot of my time working in fast food just to get a little extra money on the side. And I did it in high school. It's a very different experience because I was only working during times when other high schoolers were there, so it wasn't really that different of an environment than it was at school. This time around it was quite different. I was working in the daytime, and in August is when school starts, so like a lot of the people around my age were back at school and I was still there, but I was with the grown folk, and I had some interesting conversations, to say the least. First off, the first interesting conversation that I'm going to talk about is actually from this older man who works there, and I was working at the front. He was in the kitchen cooking, and he proceeds to tell me that back when he was younger, they used to eat out of the trash can, because they couldn't let like good food go to waste. I think he used, there are people in Africa starving as an example of why he wouldn't waste food. He said he would eat pizza slices out of the trash if they were thrown away from his friends. First of all, I thought we were beyond people in, Africa starving. It's just a thought. Another story that he had was him reminiscing on times with, the young ladies back when he was younger. And all while he was telling me this, I was kind of just like, quiet, doing my job, trying to get through the day. But I often found myself having to hear him talk about like the situations he finds himself reminiscing on. He would say, back in the day, if you had a crush on a girl, or if a girl had a crush on you, that was everything to him. And quote, "There's nothing that can replace that feeling when you get older." I'm sorry that he feels that way. He then proceeds to say, nowadays, when you like a girl, you have to ask them how much it's gonna cost. Yeah, that is when I realized I need to get out of here. Anyways, I say all that to wrap it up with, there's nothing wrong with minimum wage workers. There's nothing wrong. A lot of them have just been dealt the wrong cards in life, and some respond to it differently than others. But at the end of the day, it's our responsibility not to judge, but to be kind. So next time you're angry about your food not coming out on time, just think that maybe you don't want to eat food from someone who's okay with eating the leftovers out the trash. Food for thought. Okay, moving on to the next subject. Sometimes taking your clothes off isn't enough. Let me specify. In the nighttime, it gets really warm in my room. And I don't understand. I thought that, taking your socks off was supposed to alleviate the pain of scorching heat in the nighttime when you're under the covers. But no, it doesn't seem to work for me. Most of the time I lay in bed and wonder, where's the AC, I walk out, right? And I see, oh, thermostat's on 72. It should be nice and cool in here, 72 is not hot at all. And then I go to my room and it's burning, it's scorching. My thing about it is, like, I feel like it's just my room. Like, it's just me. Or is there something about me that is causing me to absorb the heat? So anyways, I moved my bed under the vent so I could feel the breeze when the AC's working at night. Yet for 2 hours, I lay there and I feel no breeze. So I have no other choice but to take my clothes off, sleep with no covers. So I'm butt naked and I have no covers. And as soon as I take off my clothes, suddenly there's a breeze. Why is it that when I take all my stuff off, there's a breeze? But when I have all my stuff on and I'm comfortable, possibly presentable to if anybody wants to burst in my room, there's fire coming from my vent. But when I take my clothes off, all of a sudden, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. So I'm laying there butt naked, and the breeze is blowing on my cheeks. Speaking of cheeks, we wrapped up the Diddy trials and got the verdict. Guilty on 2 counts out of 5. I honestly don't understand. Something about that everything about it doesn't make sense to me. How does the jury go in and listen to all of these things that happen and also come home, turn on their TV and see the cover of The Downfall of Diddy and decide that he is only guilty of 2 counts? Something's off. But I hate to say this right now, but some of this does have to do with the president, right? People talking about is it a crime to be a freak? Okay, but in all seriousness, please, can we keep an eye out on what our public figures are doing? Wasn't the president not alive for a few days? Why is Kim Kardashian promoting Skims on a Kai Cenat stream? She doesn't need that. And you know what? To top it all off, now we have the return of Diddy. Do you think that he'll throw a party to celebrate the lift of 3 charges? It's getting ridiculous out here. Watch over your people. Watch over your community. I think there's not enough accountability in the world right now. We need to look for it. Hold people accountable, We don't want to fall into a trap of what we saw on Love Island this summer. Thank you all for listening. At the end of the episode, we like to leave you all with a word of encouragement or a little positivity because we're positive over here. And today's word is stay educated, read the news. That's all for this episode. I'll see you guys next time. Stay blessed.